Hey, how's it going? Good. You probably just said shitty, and I said good. So nice guy I am. I hope you had a great weekend. Happy Halloween. I'm dressed up as nothing. So how are you guys doing? So, yeah, I'm dressed up to nothing from Never-Ending Story. That's how it looks. At least that's what my bathroom looks like after I've eaten too much beans. Anyway, I hope you're doing good. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you saw movies. I hope you saw TV shows. I watched some TV, and I watched a movie. I watched Cat in a Hat with Mike Myers. My 5-year-old wanted to do it. She thought it was hilarious. It was one of the worst things I've seen in quite a while. I finally started watching Dark, the Netflix show. Holy crap, you guys were right. It's amazing. I'm 2 episodes in. It's like I don't even want to be here right now. I want to be watching that show. We got Henry Cavill gets recast by I hate saying it this way, but the lesser Hemsworth. That's terrible, but it's kind of true. What weird casting. We'll talk about that. Speaking of Superman, is Superman going to be the first one because of this news? Is Superman going to be the first one out of the gate from the new DCU? It's possible now. It's really possible. Got a lot. Black Adam did pretty good over the weekend. We'll continue with that. See how that's going to fit in. Matthew Perry said something stupid about Keanu Reeves and then apologized because he realized everyone loves Keanu Reeves and who cares about Matthew Perry today. So we'll talk about that. That and more. And I got a great guest today, man. The last Innergekdom champion. So I guess the reigning Innergekdom champion of the world, Kevin Smets, 3-time champ, joining me here today on the show. We'll talk about a lot of things. And that and more. But before we even do that, I want you guys to know that we have so many shirts going on. Man, these things are going off the shelf. So Flirt and Flouse literally just walked into the office, and we have his shirt up on the store. I want you to show some class and get one of those, because are you a hero? If you are, you should be on capes and cows while you're sitting around watching Star Wars. And if you do, you should get a Sith Council shirt. And if not, you should be watching Top Gun over the weekend.
The Top Gun guy?
Yeah, you get a Top Gun guy shirt. All that and more. And there's more coming up. People have been getting them. They've been flying off the shelves, and I'm so excited about that. Thank you very little. Other things to get into. Once again, the Patreon. If you're not joining Patreon, patreon.com/thebigthing show. We have a lot of things that we're going to be adding to there. We've got some news with Brett and Kate. We'll talk about that in a little bit. That and more coming up on the show today. So subscribe to the show. Make sure you do that. Let's get into it. It's me. It's Kevin Smets. It's the big thing. Let's do it. What up, everybody? Nice to see you. Nice to be with you. And man, it's the first time I got this guy on the show. Look at that.
Hey.
It's Kevin Smets.
Here it is.
How are you? Look at that. So this thing.
How do you do all? You're doing all this yourself.
Yes.
This is insane.
For now.
You need to get a guy in the booth. I mean, because you're doing it.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. You're jumping all these things.
It's been.
I'm impressed.
It's been easier to do because you see this little contraption.
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
That's courtesy of the fans. We have that Amazon gift list on the what's up there right now. You guys can take a look. There's not much left. Actually, we've been adding stuff too because we know we're gonna put some more stuff that we need. But the fans, these lights and everything you see, it's
this place needs is a WrestleFest arcade cabinet.
I'm telling you.
This guy.
Bro, don't say that to Brett. Brett starts shaking right now.
Listen, you got Dragon's Lair here.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, took 7 months to make that game.
He tried to convince me not to get it because he didn't want to put it together. That's really the truth of it all.
Yeah, you know that Daphne was named based off of Marilyn Monroe. Daphne.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
There's plenty of info about drugs.
Little Don Bluth.
Yeah, Don Bluth.
Don Bluthy. And
he had in his offices, because I love this game, the sequel, Space Ace, and I loved a game called Cobra Command when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and that's like...
they called him around the office Bluth-a-LaRusk. It's true, Bluth-a-LaRusk.
He had Playboys all around the office. People would come in.
Said, oh, LaRusk. You're smashing off in the back.
Speaking of smash, good to see my belt. He told me I was going to get visitation rights. So.
And you got to look. It's right behind you. See?
True story. At the taping of Spectacular, everybody was leaving their belts behind, and I just went up to Kristian. The first time I ever diva'd myself, and I was like, I'm taking this belt home, man. Like, I had it for a month, then Parker took it from me. You got to let me have it for a little time, and God bless you. You let me take it home with me. But
for a little bit, yeah.
take it home. And then
someone's like, well, why did the Demelantes? I think you said it. Why did the Demelantes get?
Yeah, did he buy it?
It was sent. That was made by a fan. That belt.
Oh, okay.
All those I bought them with my own money. Skybound didn't buy it. Nobody bought. I bought it. And I'm showing them off because otherwise they're gonna wind up. Sam probably I think he lived in Sam's trunk. For half of the time. I
held mine. I had mine like my daughter loved it. She would always walk by and see it shiny. My wife liked it because whenever I was champ, we always felt on top. And to believe it or not, I would talk to the belt. Like,
I believe it.
You know, I'd be like, oh, hey, we're watching this movie or whatnot.
So, go ahead and do what you want to do. Go ahead and do it. All right, this is Mike. Because Mike, so people who watch Sith Council, Mike sits by that belt. It drives Kevin crazy.
Well, this might drive him crazy too if I hold it real quick.
Well, no, because he knows it drives you more crazy when he holds it because
he's not the champion.
Yeah, but you did knock over its stand just now.
There's a stand.
Good job.
Great. It's live TV. It doesn't need a stand.
So go ahead and do what you want to do. He came over here to do something. He made his poor wife stop the car and wake up their child in order to do this.
She didn't wait. The kid was already.
Go with the bit, will you?
Yeah.
All right. So he's gonna break half the.
We know that.
Shelf, yeah.
So when I returned the belt as a joke, like to Kristian, I was just like, "All right, but don't have it near Mike because he's like my arch rival. I'm the final champion." And the first week. You had it up there, and I almost texted you. I'm like, well, I want to be on camera, like just to put it over like behind you.
Can't have it both ways, you know.
Yeah. So then Mike showed up, and he was like, no, I want it behind me, or whatever. So there it is. So I want to sneak this by. So all the fans are probably going to tweet at him anyway.
Let's see.
We're going to sneak this. This is the Yodi Award. We're going to sneak it somewhere behind the belt. So then when he's on the show, maybe he doesn't realize that my face is behind him.
So I'm going to guarantee you this, because I know Brett's got about as much OCD as my wife does. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to put that somewhere. If you think it's gonna stay there, Brett's gonna wake up in his sleep and make sure that he puts it somewhere that it lands exactly right. So, I mean, what you're doing now is a disaster.
Yeah.
It is. So for audio listeners, Kevin Smets is basically about to take my whole shelf down for one bit.
There it is. Look.
Perfect.
In the close shot, is it? There you see. Camera 1, go to 2.
That's good.
1, go to 2.
Now, if I was just here by myself, I would never get to that, and that sloppy shit that you just did would be there forever. Well, just leave it alone, will you? How are you, man?
Good. I'm doing good. I actually I'm on cloud 9. I just came back from my oncologist meeting.
Yeah.
And when you go to those appointments and meetings, I had a colonoscopy a month ago.
People who never heard of the show or you, by the way, was like, this guy's wrecking this shelf. He's talking about getting his asshole checked out. What's happening?
If anyone doesn't know who I am, there's probably a lot of people. I was a character on the Schmoedown, the Smasher Smets, and then I had to retire briefly because I had colon cancer. And so I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer, fought that for a year, came back, had life-changing surgery, came back. Kristian, Mark, everybody was so supportive. The community started a Smash-a-thon, a Smash Cancer campaign. They raised like over $50,000, which means that I didn't have to work for a year while I fought the cancer. Finally came back, and I was talking to my oncologist about this today. Thanks to you. He's like, so I came back at Spectacular, the last live event. I think it's the last thing ever at a live event.
Well, yeah, last live is not studio, sure.
But at the Globe.
Yeah.
And my oncologist was talking about, he's like, normally when someone beats cancer, like they'll come and they'll ring the bell, or it's your last chemo thing and you ring the bell and you're like, yay, I beat cancer. And you have a couple nurses there. He's like, you got to beat cancer and then make an entrance like a rock star, stand on stage basically with people chanting your name, like you beat cancer and now you're back to beat someone's ass. He's like, that is very, I don't think anyone probably in the history, maybe Roman Reigns.
Right.
But I mean, so yeah, but doctors never like to say 100%, but my daughter was born the same week I started chemo, and it was basically right around when I got diagnosed. So 5 years is when you're considered cured. I'm in remission right now. Another 3 years, I would be considered cured. So when my daughter turns 5, it would be basically when I'm 100%, like I can say it's not coming back. But my doctor today, he's like, you're past the 2-year mark. He's looking at all my clean scans, looking at the colonoscopy results. He's like, I never like to say 100%, but he's like, I'm pretty much saying 100%.
I love that. It's amazing news. And look, and it's actually perfect timing for you to say all that too, because as you guys see in the bottom right here, every Monday We're sponsored by Carbon Health, and that event that Kevin just talked about was also one of the first times we worked with Carbon Health, and we had such a great time working with them. If you didn't know about them, they have over 110 locations nationwide. They have urgent care needs at all their locations. They have primary care in California. You can start a relationship with a professional that you can trust to take care of yourself before a major issue arises. They're really great, man, and they believe that everyone deserves a healthcare provider who is an active partner supporting you in your efforts to feel better and live healthier. They have care teams, and they have the support and resources they need to be able to focus and build a relationship with you. So, again, once check it out. They have urgent care in all their locations. They have COVID testing, primary care available at a lot of the California clinics. So we're excited to be working with Carbon Health. We've been working with them now for a little bit, and no better time than to talk about it with my buddy Kevin Smets.
That's a hell of a segue, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
flawless.
Thank you very little. So let's get into some of this stuff, because you're also here because you know your shit.
I'm retired.
Yeah, I know. Well, dude, a lot of Henry Cavill stuff to talk about in general. And speaking of Schmoedown, and speaking of competitor Josh Horowitz, right? Mm-hmm. So I've been working with Josh for a little bit now on his YouTube channel, because he already had he's a boss. You know, the guy is one of the best interviewers in the game. His Rolodex is incredible. The relationships that he built up is just next level. So his show Happy Sack Infused was on Patreon for a while and on podcast form. So I was talking to him, and he had started putting like clips and stuff up on YouTube, and I'm like, dude, if you do this the right way, this channel could blow up because with what you're working with. So I was giving him, he and I have been kind of working together on his channel, and he knew he had this Henry Cavill thing coming up, and he's like, I want to clip it out. I'm gonna clip the shit out of that thing and make sure that you do. And like, because people feel very comfortable with him. And
was that first interview since?
I think it was his second. I think he did like Good Morning America or something, and then went right into Josh.
On social media, basically,
it's got like 300,000 views or something, like 200, something like that in the interview alone. And then he had Zack Snyder call in and leave a message, and that clipped out to like 100,000. And he's got this stuff, and now his channel, I think like 2 months ago or 3 months ago, was like at 700. Now it's at 10,000, like over 10,000. So he's deservedly so, because he gets the right guests. His guest list, I'm not going to speak out of turn because I don't know what he's announced and what he hasn't announced, but he told me his guest list that he's got coming up. I mean, people are going to lose their minds. And so, but anyway, bring that up because he had on Henry Cavill, and he talked to Henry Cavill about playing Superman, how it kind of came to be, all that stuff. But one of the things he talked about and he clipped out was this Witcher thing that's going on right now. And it's crazy. Like, so they announced that he's not going to be coming back. Henry Cavill's not coming back Witcher Season 3. And instead, they're going to do Chris Hemsworth is going to be playing.
Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah, right. That would probably have been a better casting. Liam Hemsworth, excuse me.
Liam was good in the Hunger Games movies.
He was fine. He's fine.
Katniss.
But he's fine. But the difference is it's like, okay, I've been eating Joe's every day, and Joe's is so good pizza, and now I'm gonna eat Domino's for a little bit. It's still pizza, but it's not Joe's.
Pizza is like sex. Even bad sex is you're still having sex. You're having pizza.
But I don't know, man. This is something. So they replace him, and the heat that Cavill's got on him right now. If you're gonna replace him, you got to replace him with somebody big.
Yeah.
This isn't a big casting to me in general, but I'm not being fair to him because he could murder the role. But this is from Dark Horizons. In a highly unexpected turn of events, the Hunger Games alum Liam Hemsworth will replace Henry Cavill in the role of Geralt Rivia for a fourth season of Netflix's The Witcher. The streamer has just renewed the epic fantasy series for another run, even though the third season, which has wrapped production, won't air until summer next year. The news comes hot on the heels of Cavill revealing earlier this week he will return in the role of Superman. He has played Geralt of Rivia. Am I saying that right, Geralt? Nobody knows. Do you watch the show?
I watched the premiere when it first came out.
Okay, so maybe I'm saying it right. Maybe I'm saying it
I'm going to pretend like you're saying it right.
That's right. The audience will let me know. Since the show's inception, he says this in a statement. My journey as Geralt of Rivia has been filled with both monsters and adventures, and alas, I will be laying down my medallion and my sword for Season 4. In my stead, the fantastic Mr. Liam Hemsworth will be taking up the mantle of the White Wolf. As with the greatest of literary characters, I pass the torch with reverence for the time spent embodying Geralt and enthusiasm to see Liam's take on the most fascinating and nuanced of men. Liam, good sir, this character has such a wonderful depth to him. Enjoy diving in and seeing what you can find. Very classy statement by Henry Cavill. Hemsworth then said, as a Witcher fan, I am over the moon about the opportunity to play Geralt of Rivia. Henry Cavill has been an incredible Geralt, and I'm honored that he's handing me the reins and allowing me to take up the White Wolf's blades for the next chapter of this adventure. Henry, I've been a fan of yours for years, and I was inspired for what you brought to the role. I may have some big boots to fill, but I'm truly excited to be stepping into the Witcher world.
I do hope we're saying it right, because you had to say the name like 40 times in that sentence.
It doesn't matter. Either way, the point is, I think it was classy.
Yeah.
That the way they both handled it, for sure. Now, the first rumor that comes out is that, clearly, this is because we asked the question on Capes and Cowls last week. What's going to be the first DCU? That's what it's called now. DCU movie. Now, if they've been working on, and now Josh asked him in the interview when we're going to see that next, and Henry couldn't answer. He just basically said, "I just can't. I want to be. I can't say anything yet. I want to be respectful to." But that to me says, well, they're moving quick. Maybe he is the first movie out. Maybe that was the overall rumor, right? That's why. But then this other report comes out. And this was from, apparently there's this, that Henry Cavill was not pleased with
what I had heard.
The direction going into the next season, because he wanted them to stay true to the books.
And they weren't.
And they kept talking, and he's like, I'll stick around if you stay true to the books. And apparently they didn't.
And he was a super fan of the books. That's what I remember.
He's a big nerd, big geek. He was like a massive Schnepp fan.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a massive Schnepp. When Schnepp passed, he did a whole post of Schnepp on his Instagram, and he never met him.
And I saw his post on Superhero Day where he tagged everybody.
Yeah. So he's like a massive nerd. So that might have merit, but it also maybe furthered along the conversations with Superman. He's saying to him, "Hey, listen, I'm not super happy over there right now. They're not doing what I'm asking them to do because I want to stay true to it. If we can get this deal going for Superman, you got me."
Do they have any scripts in the, did they have anything going yet?
I don't know. What do you think about all this?
Well, I have a wild card idea. I just saw in an interview, maybe it was quoting the Josh Horowitz interview, but Henry Cavill said that he was second in line to play Bond in Casino Royale.
It was Horowitz.
It was?
Yeah.
See, so that kid's YouTube's going to blow up then, because I saw it just quoted somewhere else.
I just listened to the whole interview the other day.
Maybe he's Bond. Maybe that's why he had to bail out.
Bond.
You don't think that he's
not doing Bond right now? There's no heat on that right now. They're not talking about it right now, and it would be so long before, even if he did, it got off the ground. Even if he was up for Bond, they wouldn't get another Bond movie they'll get Superman off the ground before they get Bond off the ground.
Well, definitely then if it's not Bond, it's got to be Man of Steel 2, because what was the biggest mistake that they did with after Man of Steel? They
jumped right into Justice League.
Yeah, or Batman v Superman, right? So, and if the next movie, if people are thinking it's going to be Superman versus Black Adam, well, then you're literally repeating the same mistakes that you did. So it's got to be Man of Steel 2, and I'm all on board for that.
I am too, but I think it's a mixture of both. I think it's a mixture. I really do. I think it's a mixture of the fact that he didn't want to, he wasn't liking the direction it was going.
Yeah,
and because of that, he's like, I can get free like that, because I don't like what they're doing. If they were saying, okay, what we're going to do, because he said in that Horowitz interview, he took time off from The Witcher. Oh, no, not Witcher. It was Enola Holmes, I think, right?
Okay.
I don't know which one he said. I can't remember. It was something Netflix. And he said he had to take, because he couldn't tell them what it was that he was shooting when he shot that scene for Black Adam. So, but he said they kind of figured it out. But but he went, he had to get permission to go do it, and he did. So, I don't know. I mean, I assume the relationship's been good, but he's been talking to them a little bit about not liking the direction. It was a very classy response, and how he responded to Hemsworth. It was a very classy response on Hemsworth. I mean, nothing against Hemsworth. I don't think Hemsworth is not talented. He's just not the star that Cavill is, and it's like you're gonna see a massive dip in audience after that, I think.
Yeah. Well, especially if they are veering off the books and fan of the books,
right,
believe the same thing that Henry does.
Double whammy.
Yeah. Then you're really hurting.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So I'm very curious what you guys think about that one. This is Henry Cavill. I mean, I know that the obvious answer is if Henry's not in it, then I'm not. Why would I want to watch it? I'm watching it because of Henry in general. They brought him in. That's why I was so excited that he's in there. What do you think it is? do you think it's because of the Superman stuff, or just because of Superman stuff, or do you think it's like a soup with the, no pun intended, with the fact that it's got the Superman stuff, and the fact that it's that he's leaving, the fact that he doesn't like the direction, and what do you think about the casting as Hemsworth? Do you think, hey, give the guy a shot? Maybe he's fantastic. Maybe he's better than Henry in the role. I know that some people are like, wait, what are you talking about? But you never know. Maybe he gets the role. But I'm just curious to hear what you guys think. So go ahead and let me know. I want to hear your thoughts. All right, as we move on, and Henry Cavill coming, I do think that we're probably going to see a Superman movie after this news. I think it's the first one out the gate.
What are your thoughts? I know people, was it too spoilery to talk about that last scene in the music?
Nah, I mean, that's actually another article that we can actually. You just transitioned us into it, so we can.
I'm an old pro on this.
I know we can get into that. Let me see if I can find where he says that. But he talks about Henry Cavill talks about
the theme. So
the actual the John Williams classic Superman theme.
Now, I was a big fan of Man of Steel and his
Zimmer?
Superman theme of the
too.
Zimmer theme. Like, loved it. And when Justice League came out theatrically, and you heard the Superman theme and you heard the old Batman theme, I kind of geeked out a little bit about it, obviously. But I was also like, I could not believe that I had heard that Junkie XL had a full score that was thrown out when Joss took over. So my main thing about the Justice League Snyder version, when it came out, I was all about the score.
Right.
And, of course, in the score, they return to those, in the Justice League theatrical, they go back to Kent Farm, and you don't hear that piano theme, like, dun, dun,
Right.
dun.
Yeah.
And it just drove me nuts in the theater. But in the Zack Snyder, obviously, you hear that. However, I do not hate the fact if they do start reverting to the Superman theme, because that's just so iconic, right? Maybe there's a way to initiate and use both. I know that
there 100% is a way to use both.
Yeah.
It's been done on YouTube, and it's been done well on YouTube.
Oh, great.
So Riley used to walk out to it on the Schmoedown. It was a mix between Zimmer and Williams. Blend them together. You own them, Warner Brothers. Blend them together. It works. It works well, and then you'll satisfy the people, because I love that Zimmer score as well.
Yeah.
If I have my choice, I'm always picking John Williams.
Do you remember me texting you after Batman v Superman came out? I texted you because you always see these movies before.
Anything.
I always text Kristian when he sees movies before me, because sometimes I don't care about spoilers. And I texted you during Batman v Superman, and I'm like, hey, do they return is the Superman score? It was after Justice League.
Yeah, and it's in there for like a second, right?
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, that's it? Like,
yeah.
I would always ask you like questions. I asked you, I texted you about a question about Black Panther too.
Yeah.
Like, we can't say what you told me.
No, we're definitely going to talk about Black Panther a little bit too, because there's other stuff, because one of the things that we can say, and we'll talk about that in a second, but it's about the post-credit stuff. They announced something with post-credit that we can talk about. Not the post-credit itself, so don't worry. I don't want spoilers. Don't worry, no spoilers.
That's what I did. That's what I texted him. I'm like, hey, what was it?
Yeah, but I'll tell you this, man. Like, when it comes to this John Williams thing, this is Henry Cavill talking about it, because they asked. This was not on Horowitz. This was I think he was talking to Screen Rant. I can't remember. I'll tell you in a second. But there has been a lot of discussion. This is from Comic Book Movie. There's been a lot of discussion surrounding the decision of John Williams' Superman theme for Henry Cavill's epic return as the Man of Steel and Black Adam, and the actor has now talked about it. In Black Adam's mid-credits scene, Henry Cavill finally makes his return as DCU's Man of Steel, with John Williams' iconic Superman the movie score used in the background. It felt like a way of reiterating that the Superman will be more hopeful than Zack Snyder's take on the hero, though some fans took it as a sign of disrespect to composer Hans Zimmer. After all, his Superman theme has become iconic in its own right. Now, though, Cavill himself has addressed the decision to make use of Williams' work for his first scene as Kal-El in 2017. I believe it's been that long. John Williams' theme is obviously a cinema blend. Incredibly important to the character, the actor tells Cinema Blend. It is something which resonates with the character, and every time I think anyone in the world hears that, I think a large portion of the world who hears it will recognize it's Superman. And I feel a certain way about it, and I do think it's wonderful. It is true, though, as much as I love the Zimmer, if you play the Superman score to casual fans, both of them, not hardcore fans, not fans of the not big movie sphere fans and people who DC fans, and casual fans, you put up each one, that one wins out.
And I agree. And some people on Twitter are like, "Oh no, not if you're under 30 or whatever."
You're nuts.
Like, no, you're nuts. Superman is still
nuts. It's the same. Yeah,
but you can use both.
You're nuts. Under 30 for the hardcore fan who goes to watch these movies, yes, absolutely, I agree. But casual fans, people in this sphere always take themselves and never realized like they never put to consideration like the casual fan who just like. I was talking to my brother the other day about what the hell was it? We were talking about some news. I don't know if it was Star Wars news or whatever the hell it was. It was something that came out. Oh, it was the Damon Lindelof stuff. So you know about it, right?
Yeah.
You host a show, or you're part of a show on Scoundrels Inc. that you guys talk about this stuff also.
Yeah.
So you guys know about it. People inside of this who pay attention to the movie news, they know about it. My brother had no idea what the hell. He's a hardcore Star Wars fan. He had no idea. Yeah. He had no idea. He's not checking the news the way that we are. He's not Twitter looking at this stuff all the time. And people don't realize it's the same thing with, like, and some people don't even realize if I played that Hans Zimmer song to my friend John Pinto, who has seen Man of Steel, has seen all these movies, he will not recognize it. And to that what they were talking about before, or whoever said it, he's in my age range, so of course that's what he would recognize as a child. And stuff. But I think that the best save is blending it. You can do it. You can do it, but
you could have the heroic moments be like if he's talking about it's a more joyous Superman, right? And he can go home to the Kent farm whenever it's family stuff. You could have that original piano theme.
Yeah.
And when he's doing the heroic things, and now I'm sure maybe they'll do a montage. They've got to do a montage probably of him.
You can still blend both of them. Yeah. When he's doing all the heroic stuff too, you can blend it.
Show both.
Yeah, you can do it. All right. So as suspected, this was meant to remind us of what it said. What Superman arguably should be on screen. Say what you will about Joss Whedon's Justice League, but the movie delivered a Man of Tomorrow who was more in line with a comic book counterpart. Cavill would go to share his love for Zimmer's work, making it clear he has no issue with that theme. Cavill says, at the same time, equally so, I think Hans Zimmer's Man of Steel score was just as wonderful. I have incredibly powerful feelings about that because I remember watching the trailer, the first teasers coming out, and I was sitting there with my friend as we were both so excited about it and the way that the score plays. Both are incredibly powerful in their own way, and both are just as iconic as the character, he said. It was just such a pleasure to be back in the suit, whether it be John Williams or whether it be Hans Zimmer. They're both extraordinary artists.
He's the best. He loves Superman so much, and I'm
so
happy for him.
And you believe it. You don't believe that he's just kind of giving fan service here. You believe that he's actually saying these things and believes it. So, look,
so happy he's coming back to it because you just want. He deserves that sequel. He deserves to have that. If you're going to talk about the Snyder arc, it is him in the darkness. It's him, and he's an alien. They made the Man of Steel an alien invasion movie, basically, and he was an alien trying to fit in. And then you have Batman v Superman, where you have someone who's so jaded, it's like, I need to take this guy out, because even if there's a fraction of a chance that he could turn on us, we got to consider it as an absolute certainty, right? Yeah. And then he finally comes back. He's dead, and then he comes back for the Justice League, has one fight, but now he's out in the light, and now you want to give him that moment. Now you want to give him that moment in the sun, as his father would say.
I'm so curious of how both Gunn and Safran are going to do this now, because they're going to have answers, right? We know that they're not going to reboot the whole thing. They're not going to reboot
the Flashpoint. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So they're going to be able to.
Well, like,
they're gonna. I guess. In the Flash, they're gonna be kind of establish moving forward how the DCU works.
I would guess, because like Flashpoint's interesting. If you ever read the comics, and there's a great animated movie, I would so recommend it. Fantastic score too, because you like movie soundtracks. Flashpoint Paradox. And I don't want to spoil too much about what's in that, but in the end, the way that Flashpoint works is like, it's not just like, oh, now there's a multiverse, and at the end of No Way Home, Toby went home and Andrew Garfield went home. With Flashpoint Paradox, at the end, it was for the way that the comics to kind of reboot and like set new rules, right? And so my pitch, if they're trying to get rid of Ezra too, it's like the very last scene should not be Ezra. It should be the Barry Allen we know waking up, and whoever the new Flash is looks in the mirror, almost like Quantum Leap. You know what I mean? He'll just look and be like, oh, whoa, and then moving forward. And I think originally they were doing that to where Ben Affleck wasn't Batman anymore. Like, he would show up to the Batcave to be like, hey, I'm successful, you helped me do it, and then it would turn around and it would be Michael Keaton in that world where now everything's kind of blurred together, but Michael Keaton even knows what he's talking about, stuff like that.
Yeah, it depends on how it's all an explanation, right? Yeah. It's all on how they're going to do it, and I think that's going to be, because Muschietti directing that one, pretty sure. I hear great things about it for people who have seen it. Some people have seen the test screenings and other things too, and I hear some great things about it. Give me the
number. I'm going to text them.
I know. I hear great things about it. Apparently, Keaton's phenomenal in the movie. That's all. I mean, again, I don't know how from the screenings that have been happening thus far, but there was still test screening, and that's before reshoots, so they could have reshot other stuff and put end credits stuff in. But either way, I think it then blends us into going into whatever the next thing is.
I think that'll remedy the whole, like, did the Snyderverse happen? Yeah, it happened. But now in this moving forward, the Flashpoint paradox will be like, well, this is with our new cast of people moving forward.
And this is how you set the timeline. Now, I do think after this news with The Witcher, I think not only is this leaning heavily towards the fact that this will be Man of Steel 2 that they lead with. I don't know. Even if it's called Man of Steel 2 for right now, right? But
what would you call it?
Son of Krypton? Or they have that already out there, right?
No, I think that's good. I would call it Superman.
Even just as good.
Yeah, like John Rambo.
Yeah, Man of Steel,
Rocky Balboa,
2, Superman, whatever it might be. You lead with this, and you have it because what it does. You look at how people are just psyched about this guy returning. That's part one. Part two is you also lead with a big character. Because if you go with a smaller character in your first movie for these guys, it's a risk.
Yeah.
It's still a risk anytime you put a movie out, but less of a risk.
James Gunn is used to risks, though. I mean, he did bring the Guardians of the Galaxy. No one knew who the heck they were.
But we were 5 years or whatever it was already into the MCU.
Yeah, that's true.
This is essentially these hodgepodge of movies that are leading up to they've got Aquaman 2, but it was already Safran was part of it.
Yeah.
But not that they didn't put everything into that one. That was Safran but the Gunn partnership, the double duo, which is redundant. But either way, so leading up to that, if they go, okay, let's hit big. We just got Henry. We got him out of The Witcher. Let's make a massive splash.
Yeah.
Let's announce that we got this guy coming back from Man of Steel 2. Let's talk about it at Comic-Con. And let's lead with that, and then we can build off of Superman.
Directed by Zack Snyder.
I mean,
can you imagine?
I think he's going to do something again with them, but I think they're going to. I think because him and Gunn are friends.
Good.
So what I think is going to happen is I think it'll be a little time because I think Zoloft is I think he's a little hesitant to say, let's not bring him back right away.
Now, are these other Supermans, they were going to do the JJ reboot, and then they're going to do the Black Superman. Are they gone? Or
I think so. That was Walter Hamada.
That was going to be a period piece, by the way.
Was it?
Yeah, the Black Superman one. Which would have been interesting.
I think that was a Walter Hamada kind of JJ Abrams thing, I believe. And I think that was one of the things that Dwayne Johnson was like, we really want to get Cavill back, and we're working on this other thing. And he went around Hamada to get that done. And I think that at this point with Cavill, I think they got to get away from whether it's no matter who was playing Superman. If you're going to do a multiple Superman, it's confusing. It's the same way where it's confusing when there's 47 Batmans at the same time or there's 4 Flashes at the same time. It's confusing. It's like while it's going on, have one.
Yeah.
It's just because that's Superman. That's what it's like. You don't have 6 Iron Mans at the same time unless you do multiverse and all that. That's a different story. But like the standalone movies, it's tough to do. Like the Joker stuff and the Batman stuff, it's like, who's going to be our Batman? It's going to be Pattinson? Is it going to be Affleck? Is it going to be Keaton? Who's it going to be? All of them? I don't know.
Do you like multiverse stuff?
I do like it, but I want it to end eventually. I like that Marvel gave it a clear cut. This is the multiverse saga ends because it's going to get too many excuses. Yeah. But I'm glad you brought up multiverse though, because I want to talk about Dark. Have you seen this show?
I have not,
dude.
My segue game is on point today.
It really is. Let me find where the hell this thing is.
Don't give me another show to watch. I have so many things.
You have to watch this one. Do you like?
But at least I'm not watching Innergekdom movies anymore.
That's true. Do you like? You're a big time travel guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so I'm obsessed with
already.
It. I'm obsessed with time travel and parallel universes and all that. I have theories that I think a lot of times that when you're dreaming, you're actually in a parallel universe more so. They actually did that in Doctor Strange.
That's what I was just.
They did it in Doctor Strange, and when you're dreaming, that's been a theory, and I've been thinking about that for years.
That you're communicating.
That's why I was so hyped by the beginning of Doctor Strange. I'm like, they're going with it, they're doing that, and then just.
I hope that's not the case because I had a effed up dream last night, and I really feel bad for my multiverse Kevin if that really happened.
Remember, it's infinite. It's infinite. When you think about it, people go, "Oh, yeah, infinite." Infinite means there's no end. Like it's any possibility you could potentially think of, it's out there. But
I need to take an edible and talk to you. That sounds fun.
I would love to. And that's but Dark is a show that the audience kept recommending to me and saying you got to check this thing out. And it's you can watch it it's a German show, right? So you can watch it with the dub over. in English, or you can. I've been watching it with German with the subtitles.
Yeah.
And
that's the way to go.
Yeah, and it's got a Stranger Things feel to it for sure. But I'm only like 2 episodes in so far. But I know when I'm really locked into a show, and I'm locked into this show, and it's like it's because what I like about it is you don't really know yet what the hell's going on. You just know there's this cave, and something happened back in the 80s, and it's happening again now, and kids start going missing, and they don't know why. And there's a nuclear power plant that's involved also, and there's but it's also great character development. Like it's great. It's
you say
really
time
great.
is involved with it, so
Yeah. So if something happened in the 80s that hasn't linked yet back, I'm not there yet.
I'm getting It Chapter 1 and 2 vibes.
It definitely has that kind of. It's got that kind of feel. It's got Stranger Things feel for sure. But again, I know you guys have been screaming at me. Those people who watch it screaming at me to watch this show, and I finally did. And I started watching it, and it's fantastic. And I'm bummed because it's only 3 seasons, and I think it started in 2019. So it's just saying I don't know if it's going to continue on, or it stopped. I don't know. You guys had to tell me. I have no idea if it was canceled or what.
I can tell you, if my mom hasn't watched it, then she used to have a streak where every show she got into, she'd be like, "Oh my God, Kevin, I'm watching this show Jericho. It's so great." I don't know why I'm making her sound like that. She doesn't sound like that. But like Jericho's great.
Nobody would have known.
And Jericho's great, and it's like then it's over, and then she'll be like, "Oh, I'm watching this show," and it's like that's a one and done season 2. It's like so.
It's funny.
I haven't heard her talk about it yet. So
my
you're
mom
safe.
and my wife are on the same page with shows. My mom told my wife a while ago, you should watch this show Outlander. It's really good. And my wife did start watching it, and my wife never binges anything.
Binged it.
Binged the hell out of it. Finished like 6 seasons. So much so that they don't have stars. They don't have all the seasons, like the first 5 seasons are all on Netflix, and the 6th season is on Stars. And I didn't have a Star subscription. I had to get a Star subscription so she could watch the 6th season. But and then some other show my mother had recommended that my wife is now watching. But this show Dark is awesome. It's really good, and it does have those time, and it'll keep you up. It'll keep you up watching. But if you like, keeping you up, how about Trade Coffee? You want to get kept up.
Your segue game is on point too, my friend.
I'll tell you what, Trade Coffee is no joke. I love it. I've been telling it. I've been talking about it. We got a new bag in here. Recently, they sent a new one. And if you didn't know what it is, it's a coffee subscription. Are you a coffee guy?
Yes.
So
not too much, but yeah.
Well, you should be when it comes to this. I'm telling you. What about the wife? Does the wife drink coffee?
Yeah, she loves it,
dude.
Nonstop.
Trade Coffee. It is. The problem is I didn't get a chance to brew one in the morning before I got over here. But the whole place normally has been smelling like a mom and pop coffee shop, and it smells wonderful. Brett, have you had a cup of coffee today? You're gonna make one right now. All right,
we're gonna have an on-screen test.
You're gonna smell how great it is in just a moment here. It's great because if you guys are coffee drinkers.
Is this the thing where you had him install it?
Yeah.
He came on.
It's just a regular coffee pot, but he did, and I'm so glad they did because every morning it just smells wonderful in here. And you have to check out Trade Coffee, and they make it very easy just to get the best coffee. They deliver it fresh from the finest local roasters around the country. That's the beauty of it. When you go to a coffee shop, it's a great experience, but you can't do it like every day. If you're looking for that delicious local coffee shop taste on a daily basis, it's so much easier to do it, and you do it with Trade Coffee. It's a coffee subscription service, and it makes it so simple for you to discover new coffees and make your best cup of coffee at home. That's it. They trade. No, they don't. That's the name of the company. Trade. What they do is that they partner with the nation's top-rated independent roasters, and they send you coffee that you know that you're going to love, and they send it fresh to your home, to your preferred schedule. It's been so convenient for me. They give you the updates on when it's coming in. It's great. And whether you already know what you like or it's a new to specialty coffee and you need some help, Trade makes it easy and convenient to discover new coffees. They send you ground coffee or whole beans, however you like to make your coffee at home. So if you're just getting started or you're a coffee aficionado looking to discover something new, Trade guarantees that you'll love your first bag, or they're going to send you a new one for free. That alone is the best. We have this. What's the new flavor they just sent us over there, Brett? What is that? Throw it over here. Here, send it over here. So we have this one. We haven't tried this. Hell yeah, medium roast. It tastes like Swiss chocolate macadamia nut. Sign me up. I can't wait for that one. The other one was delicious as well. So if you want to upgrade with your coffee today with Trade Coffee and let them take the guesswork out of finding your perfect cup, listen to this deal. Kevin, you should tell your wife about this deal.
Okay.
Trade is offering our listeners a total of $30 off of the subscription plus free shipping at drinktrade.com/bigthing. One more time, drinktrade.com/bigthing. You get $30 off your subscription for the best coffees in the country. drinktrade.com/bigthing. Look at Kevin holding that bag. See?
Drink coffee, do stuff.
I'm telling you, man.
An official sponsor of the Big Thing.
Well, you know what's funny is I was doing the pods for a while, and I even have an espresso machine.
That's what we have. We have pods.
I do also, and there's some that they're now the pods are you can recycle them, but they weren't for a long time. But I said, once Trade was coming on as a sponsor, we're like, let's get the pot and let's try it and let's ground them. And I'm so glad. Well, just wait. You're gonna when you within minutes, this whole place is just gonna smell. Are you doing it right now? Yeah, do this one. Try that.
Yeah.
Try the
do it.
Whoa.
And he catches it.
So I want to see how that smells because it just sounds amazing. So anyway, and by the way, for people who are wondering, I get questions all the time. How do you support the show? So if you're a member of the Patreon, of course. If you've bought a shirt, absolutely. If you put a like and a comment, but I always recommend trying one of the sponsors because that helps the show tremendously. But it's also something that you can get for yourself as well. I mean, obviously, shirt and Patreon stuff you get benefits. But if there's something particular that you like, and you're like, you know what, I am a coffee drinker, please go and help out the show and help out yourself. And I want to know if you're enjoying it. I got somebody who said, I tried Trade Coffee. The whole place smells wonderful. I'm loving it.
I'm excited.
And I'm excited for more people to try it out. So please let me know and leave the comments also.
It beats having a Schmoebot, right? So
it's well, I mean,
interruption.
The Schmoebot,
hello, Kristian and Mark.
I'm glad you brought that up too, actually, because the Schmoebot has been working for SEN Live. It's like it's like the bit, right? And I think that it works good for. They only do 4 shows a month, so it's an interaction thing, and it works well. A daily show with the Schmoebot every day, listening to a car, you want to put your head through the windshield.
Yeah.
And I certainly, when I would listen back to the show, and somebody was in the middle of a really good bit, and it get interrupted, it's like, but that's what kept everybody on the air. But
I remember I sent in a Schmoebot just to be funny to you guys, and you're not. I wasn't paying attention to what you guys were talking about, and it came in at the worst time, like right in the middle of something you said, and I was like, no, I want to take it back.
Right. But it works for SEN Live now the way that it is. But and then eventually evolved and became this show to where we would do other things. But
yeah,
I did a stream on Friday, I believe it was, on the channel formerly known as the Schmoedown or Schmoes Know, and it's currently the Big Thing Clips channel. Some people.
Does that mean I'm the Innergekdom champion of the Big Things Clips channel too?
No, the Schmoedown as that the same way that as it when it lived, that's where you're the champ. But I did a stream over there, and some people understood what I was saying. Some people had it completely misunderstood what I was saying. I had written that I said, what should we do with this channel? Because not this channel here, not the one you're watching right now. That's the biggest misconception. People, why are you going to change it up again? No one's changing this channel. It's staying exactly the same as it is. It's fine.
I got to give you props on this channel too, because I remember when you first had it, it was like 10,000 or 8,000.
It was the clips. But that's my point.
And then you brought it to where you're at today.
It was it was a clips channel, and people were like, "Oh, you keep changing up. You change it until the thing is working.
Yeah,
until it's working." And so, for example, the Schmoedown now lives on the Schmoedown Archives channel. It's its own thing. It'll live there. That's its channel. So if you want all the Schmoedown stuff, you want to get updated with Schmoedown stuff, Frank has taken over that and has been working with it. He's doing a great job.
Good hands with Frank,
It's in great hands with Frank. So the Schmoedown channel is the Schmoedown Archives channel. If you're a Schmoedown fan, you go. So because someone said recently, why don't you should just left it the Schmoedown channel and had no original content on there whatsoever? It makes no sense.
The channel would die.
It would
be like Reno.
Yeah. So my thought process on what I would do with it to stay with the big thing is clip it out. So if we had stuff that we were talking about on here, let's say that Henry Cavill conversation, clip it out, put it on that channel. If somebody didn't know that this show was happening or missed this particular episode, they would see the clip out and then want to come back here. Yeah.
Well, not working, right?
Not working for 2 weeks. The re-uploads, I think hurts the algorithm.
Well,
as part one.
So I'm doing a show called Scoundrels Inc. It's a 50,000 Star Wars podcast, but we have another one. It's with Frank Janish, Sean Sullivan, Brandon Hanna, and myself. I have a KOTOR channel. The KOTOR channel has like 16,000 subscribers, and my idea was like, let's just throw it on the KOTOR channel. And we did the pilot on the KOTOR channel, but my channel, because of the way I did KOTOR movies, you can't monetize it. And also, when we uploaded the episode, a lot of the comments were like, cool show, but hey, when's the next KOTOR series you're doing and stuff like that?
They're there for that.
So we moved it over to a new thing, Scoundrels Inc. on YouTube. But I thought, I'll do the same thing. I'm going to have clips from Scoundrels Inc. I'm going to throw it on my channel, and then they're going to click on that video and be like, oh, and then I have like the tags at the end, and they'll just go to the other thing. That's not happening.
No, it's not working.
Doesn't work that way.
I mean, part of it, the only reason I would push back on mine a little bit is because the people on that, whether it's Schmoes Know, Schmoedown, are familiar with me, would see that and know, oh, okay, that's what he's working on now, and go over there. But they've two things. One, they don't give a shit about it. That's part one. Part two is that for some reason re-uploads. It's not original content. Anything original now. There's 284,000 subscribers on. Like, how many are active? Not many.
Yeah.
Let's say to be let's say 15,000 could be active on that channel, more or less.
And they're probably following you already.
Some of them might be. Some of them didn't. Some when I put that live stream didn't even know that I was doing stuff or not. So, but that was my point.
Are you alive?
The one guy, I said, I didn't know that. I said, you do now, fuckface. You do now. So when I'm looking at that channel, though, I'm going, all right, well, what can we do? And I did that stream, and I said, well, as I was talking to people about it, I think what could make sense is because I'm going to have my buddy Rick Ingram on. I always get requests for people to interview for like comedians and stuff for Netflix specials and things like that. Now, there's some comedians that if I got Sebastian on this show, now chances are in Big Thing it'll do pretty well because it's Sebastian, right? If Dave Chappelle, I put it on here because it was Dave.
Chris Rock.
But it's what I'm saying.
He was supposed to be on this show actually, and then I'm the recovery.
Well, speaking of Chris Rock, my friend Rick Ingram opens for him, and was scheduled to open for him right before the Oscars thing.
No
and then
kidding.
Did the Boston. There's a story I want to tell, and I want to have that conversation with him.
Fantastic. Oh, my gosh.
It's fantastic. He's been touring with him since the Oscars, and the tour finally ends, and he's going to come on the show. So my thought process was like, if I put Rick Ingram, comedian, now I think everyone should know about Rick. I think he's one of the funniest people maybe ever. He is really. I think he's the funniest comedian. Sorry, Brett, that I've ever met. Brett's up there, but he's really hilarious, right? But if I interview Rick Ingram on this channel, no one's gonna watch it. I put interviews up with people that people did know on the channel. Nobody watched it. If I do a live stream on a channel, which I'm gonna call Harloff and Friends, is what I'm decided I'm gonna call it.
Nice.
Now, if I put it up there. And what I can do is I can have that interview with Rick, do a live stream. If it does 5,000 or 6,000, we do some super chats on it, and we talk to him about certain questions, and 5,000 or 6,000 people watch it, or whatever total. It's a win because that channel isn't doing anything right now. That's part of it. The other thing is, so what we decided to do is, like, Brett and Kate is a very funny show. Like, they talk about like just nonsense. They just talk about whatever's going on in their lives. But we have it 4 times on the Patreon right now. And I was like, well, why don't they just do 2 live streams live on the channel? And then, like, if you wanted to come on and talk about some stuff, it's like, okay, well, you're associated with us, with the brand. You do something, you do a live stream, and it's like we can have live streams, and we can do short form, and it's one of these things. It's just a channel. It doesn't have to be pop culture. Like,
it could be anything.
Anything.
Well, my pitch to you, I also told you, I was like, I'd love to have a series where we just throw, everybody. People that follow you, like, they love you, and I wanted to see you do like crazy things. Like, let's throw you at Six Flags Magic Mountain and go on all the crazy rides. Let's do the Hot Ones challenge. I challenge you right now to the Hot Ones challenge wing challenge. I
like hot sauce, man.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, wow.
I like hot sauce.
There you go. Launch Harloff and Friends and have a Hot Ones with some of the
but either way. But you're right. Like, something along those
random
lines,
stuff like that.
And for people like, well, why are you going to split it up? Because someone said that to me. Like, why are you going to split up the brand and split stuff and not put it on all one hub? Because it's too much. And the thing is, if you guys come here, this channel, I want you to know, all right, well, I guarantee you that I'm going to be able to see a movie reaction, a movie review, a watch along, a Big Thing episode, a Sith Council episode, a Capes and Cowls, and you know what you're getting. This is what the channel is. And it's like, and then I could put stuff to where if more people are asking me about interviews, then I can say, okay, well, look, I know that particular interview isn't going to do well on this channel, but if I do a live stream with this person, and I do that, then why not? And it's some material over there people can watch. They can watch along. They can ask questions to that person on the interview. And, like, I think that could be, and it's what do we have to lose on that channel at this point?
I also think what will help you too is everybody, they're there for the personality, right? Schmoedown, that obviously, a lot of those, it's the Schmoedown, the old Schmoedown channel. Yeah. They're there for the personalities. They might not, a lot of Schmoedown fans aren't there for just news, reviews, reactions, right? So if you turn that channel into something that's more general, where it's more about you and your friends and live streams and interviews, but it's not tied into just pulp culture reviews and reactions.
It could be about anything.
It could be about anything.
Yeah.
I think that, I think some of the people that are like, oh, I want it to still be the Schmoedown channel, they might warm up to it a little bit.
Yeah, I think there is some merit. Somebody said, well, that channel changes all the time, so it's hard to keep up. I can't argue with that. Yeah. I really can't argue with that, because it started as a Schmoes No channel, and then it turned into the Schmoedown channel and stayed the Schmoedown channel for years. But then after, I took a shot with the Clips channel. You also got to be able to say, all right, this is either working or it's not. It's not working. So I don't want it just to sit there, and it's not worth it just getting 1,000 views, 2,000 views on a channel with it. It's like, let's try to stream it, because I would rather do something where I can goof around with people. I could have people on the show, and I would love to hear you guys. Again, this is the comments. This is why this is what I've been using the comment section more so. I want to hear people's opinions and thoughts on it. And for everybody out there, 90% of you guys in the conversation about this over the last couple of days have been so helpful. Some people were not dicks, but they were also like, why do you need you sound unsure of yourself, man. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, I'm asking the fans about a separate channel, not this channel. Not like, hey, am I doing a good job on this channel, guys? It's like, I have asked them, I have said to them, hey, do I feel more comfortable to you guys? Does it feel like I'm more comfortable here? Not like, hey, let me know if I'm feeling comfortable or not. That's not, people don't understand a lot of times. And I think it's also, to be fair, it's hard to read through, like the same way it's hard to read in text.
Yeah.
As when I'm saying it. Like if I said, because for
Context.
me, I know this is the most happy I've ever been doing shows. It's the most comfortable I've ever been doing shows.
You've told me that in private.
Like, yeah, and it has nothing to do with, like and Mark knows that I love the time on Schmoes, but like I'm more comfortable on this. I like Big Thing more than any other show that I did. And I'm sorry, more than Schmoes, more than Collider Live, more than all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just to me the show I always wanted to do. So the confidence was more so, I wanted to make sure the way that I was feeling that the audience was picking it up.
I think that for anyone to like hammer you on that is kind of silly, because it's like you're looking for feedback. Like,
yeah, most, like I said, majority was on board.
And a lion doesn't concern itself with the opinions of sheep.
What? That's, don't tell me. That's shoot. I just watched that Marvel movie recently.
I think it was from Game of Thrones. Charles Dance says it.
Was it?
Yeah. A lion doesn't concern himself with the opinions of sheep.
So is Loki.
Does he say it? Well,
Loki said it in the Avengers.
Oh, Ant Boot.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's same concept.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So I'd love to get your thoughts. Please let me know in the comments as and I continue to talk. Here, wow, we've been already going for 52 minutes. Shoot, man.
Time flies when you're having fun.
So let's talk about this one then, because I know it's something that you wanted to talk about and I want to talk about as well. Here it is. So Matthew Perry was in the news a lot recently. He's got a new book coming out, and anytime someone has a book out, they want to steal some headlines and they want to say some stuff. So he was saying a lot of stuff. I still don't understand how this bastard nagged Julia Roberts, but anyway, that's another story.
Did he?
Yeah, he dated Julia Roberts, and he broke up with her. It's in the book. Fucking asshole. Anyway,
kicked out of his range for that one.
He times 1,000. But either way, he's up there. He was talking about an array of different things on this interview. And I think he still thinks that he was set in 2004 when he was at the height of his power, or wherever he was, where Keanu Reeves at one point was, he was never looked upon as the greatest actor.
Yeah.
And back in 2004, like, oh yeah, Keanu Reeves, that guy, you can't say a damn thing about Keanu Reeves now, because he's beloved. He's one of the most beloved guys. Like,
he breaks up fights. He helps rescue people.
He's beloved. He's beloved. He's John Wick. He's done all these things. Beloved, and he's just done so much over the last couple of years in general that people love this guy. And so Matthew Perry stupidly, like the other day, was talking about how Joaquin Phoenix was gone and somebody else is gone. I was like, why couldn't it be like Keanu Reeves or something like that? And then so what he said, he made headlines for some baffling comments he said about Keanu Reeves in his upcoming memoir. But now Entertainment Weekly reports that Perry is walking back those comments because he's probably getting his ass chewed out by everybody. In a public apology about the parts of his memoir that appear to slander Reeves, a man who he has never worked and who has no apparent direction connection with. In a statement to People, Perry says he chose Reeves' name at random and he doesn't have any issue with the actor. I'm actually a big fan of Keanu. I just didn't realize that if I said something stupid, all of Twitter would kill me. Oh, no. Sorry, that's not what he said. I'm actually a big fan of Keanu. I just chose a random name. My mistake. I apologize. I should have used my own name instead. Yeah, it's like you're this isn't 2004, pal. Perry reportedly references Reeves twice in his memoir, the quotes referencing the deaths of River Phoenix and Chris Farley and lamenting their passing, while jokingly questioning why Keanu Reeves still lives. Perry was highlighting late actors who struggle with addiction, as Perry has throughout his life, whilst not considering Reeves' tragic background and close relationship with Phoenix. At best, the comments came off as needlessly vindictive and made in poor judgment. It was just stupid. It was just, I mean, look, I'm glad that he apologized for it fast. He's probably getting destroyed every which way but Sunday, as he should have been, because it's Keanu Reeves, and you don't go after Keanu Reeves.
Well, these people don't know the power of their words.
Yeah. Because you have actually something that he said as well.
Which I take kind of issue with. And this is something that some might have guessed at with my recovery. But he had, in his book, he talks about how he did so many drugs that he had to get some of his GI tract was screwed up. So he had to get some of his colon out. And so he had to have a temporary colostomy bag. I don't know if you guys know what a colostomy bag is, but basically it's like when you don't shit. Can I say shit?
You just did.
Well, I'm not gonna. I don't want to cuss,
good.
but
yeah, I did already. Too.
Okay, you can't go out of your rear end anymore, and it gets funneled into what's called a stoma, which comes out of your stomach and then goes into a bag, and then you. Okay. Thank you for that. That helps. If you could cut to the wide, you could see how proud he is of that one. Go ahead. Cut to the wide. There. That's the close. There it is. We're laughing here, and we don't realize how serious of a thing I'm about to say.
Yeah, that's why I did it before you went into it.
Thank you.
Let's keep it serious.
Please. Yeah, please.
Sorry.
Your hand up. Okay. Jesus, come on. How am I supposed to follow that? Here I am. Okay, keep your hand off that button. Anyways. How did you do that? You're not even touching it. Can you get it off the close? Can you go to the wide? Why is it on me with the whole? I'm taking the belt home with me. That's it.
Go ahead. Please.
Okay, are you done?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Okay. So anyways, he made comments. He had a temporary colostomy bag. When I was dealing with my cancer, I was told that the possibility of me having a colostomy bag was very high because of where the location was, where my tumor was. And what I always did when I was the smasher is I decided to study, and I studied everything on having a colostomy, having a stoma, what's it mean, the history of it, because like there's a stigma about it. It's like, oh my God, you're shitting into a bag, you don't have an asshole anymore, like. And so I dove into it. I knew so much during these 8 months when I was doing chemo, and there was always a hope, maybe it's not going to happen. So how this relates to Matthew Perry, he had a temporary colostomy because of his drug use, not because he had cancer or because he did it to himself, and he had a temporary colostomy bag, and he screwed that one up so bad that then he had to take out the stoma, and they had to do an ileostomy, which is even worse. So if you have a colostomy bag, sorry, I know we're talking about this, but basically everything's works. You have most of your colon, but again, you don't have a rectum anymore, so it comes out of a thing in your stomach into a bag or whatever. If you have an ileostomy, you don't even have any of your colon. You have your small intestines. That's it. And so life with an ileostomy is really hard because it's like there's no time. It's like all day long you're emptying the bag or you're getting new bags or whatever. So he had a temporary of both. He goes on in his book to say how miserable it was, how he had like 60 leaks and explosions. He's waking up in his own feces and how he was miserable with it. And that kind of thing, first of all, could happen to people. And I'm sure everybody has a right to be unhappy in whatever they have. But that's just not the case. I'm going to tell you right now, my surgery required me to lose my rectum. So I won the Innergekdom title twice without an asshole. Like, I do not have an asshole. I have a stoma. The stoma, live with a stoma, because I had studied so much on it for 8 months leading into it, I knew that because there was like, hey, we could reattach it, but then it's like you have a much shorter fuse. If you have to go to the bathroom, you have to run, or you have to wear a diaper even. I'm like, I don't want that. I want whatever 100% make sure I get rid of that cancer. If you press that button right now, I know, I'm just kidding. I want 100% to get rid of that cancer. Farrah Fawcett. I just talked to my oncologist today. She was treated at UCLA Medical. he treated her because his colleague that was her main oncologist, and sometimes he missed it. Farrah Fawcett had such a stigma about colostomy bags and how gross, oh, you're shitting in a bag on your stomach, that she opted not to get the stoma, which could have eliminated she had anal cancer. It could have eliminated the cancer. Instead, she flew to Germany, tried to do some technique, herbal or whatever, came back. They looked at her and they're like, well, it's as if you didn't do anything, and it spread, and then she died because of the stigma. So I've had a stoma for over a year. The only people that know about it are the people that I chose to tell. No one knows. There's no smell that follows me. I'm not like Pigpen from
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not like Pigpen from Peanuts, where the smell that follows me. In fact, I rarely smell, because everything, if there's a fart, like he does his fart noises, that's the only thing. This sometimes will make noises, but doesn't smell because it goes into a bag. I haven't had to sit at the pot for over a year. I don't miss it at all. I was very prepared for it, but the dangerous words that Matthew Perry, it started spreading I'm in these support groups where people are already so nervous and they hate their life. I'm so depressed, I have to get a bag, and maybe I'm not going to get the bag. And they're like, well, if you don't get the bag, you're not going to get the surgery, you're not going to get rid of the cancer. And people die because they'd rather quality of life. My quality of life is fantastic. I'm not at a gas station having to take a shit on the side of the road because something didn't agree with me. Like, I'm here. I used to give you an example of what it is. It's just a small bag. I can show it to you right here. No, I don't actually. Where is it? This is what a bag looks like. That's all it is. It's attached to my stomach. When I go, if anything goes, I just literally can detach it, put it in a thing that's like when your dog goes to crap outside, and I throw it away, and that's it. It does the bags. There's no smell. Everything presents itself. So I just wanted to be public about it because no one in my circle knew. I told him. Obviously, I told my closest friends right away, like, hey, this is what I have, right. Because it's like pretty life-changing. And it was really hard at first, but once I got it down with, like, it's quicker. Me going to the restroom is basically quicker than me changing my daughter's diaper. It's like snap off, put in a bag, snap on. I never touch my shit. I never look at my shit. I don't have to. So it's actually quite clean. So Matthew Perry was making these remarks about how bad the explosions and stuff. It's not happened to me. So I've lived quite healthy. I don't have cancer, so that's the number one thing.
And it's helped you out tremendously.
It's helped me out tremendously. It was the only way, and it was like, for me, they gave me the offer. They're like, I think we might be able to reattach it, but it makes the surgery more dangerous. And I'm like, just get rid of it. Like, I knew so much. The nurses were impressed by it. They're like, wow, But I say this because I didn't know if I was ever going to come out and be public with it, but kind of nervous even talking about it because, like, it is a thing. Like, yeah, maybe someone's going to look at me now and be like, wow, like, there's a bag. Like, my bags are always empty. I buy so many of these things because I don't want anything ever in there. So the second I feel anything, it's gone. It's swapped out. So for me, it's just I wanted to lift the stigma because I know there are people out there that might not even know it yet that will have an opportunity or might be faced with something. And it might be from GI issues. It might be from what is the thing that Brock Lesnar had? Like,
I'm not sure.
It started with a D. But yeah, there's a lot of different things, not just cancer, where you might have to lose some of your colon. I don't want people to be worried about it. Like, I've lived I've lived for over a year. There's nothing changed about, like, my life except the fact that I just don't. The only thing I miss is the morning shit. Like, I don't get to, like, read the newspaper.
But I'm glad you told people about it. And I'm glad that this is something that, obviously with that interview, besides just the Keanu Reeves stuff, there's a lot of stuff that not just the interview, but the book itself and saying those things. So I'm glad that you were able to say that. And,
yeah, I always seem to make some big announcements on your show.
No, but I'm glad that you did. And before we end, let's get to our next sponsor, Taco Bell. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for joining us today. I'm glad that you were able to go ahead and share that.
Yeah.
And for you,
if anyone has any questions about it too, I said,
and hit up Kevin at Kev Smets. Check him out also on Scoundrels Inc., where they do the show. It's every Thursday?
Yeah, it drops every Thursday.
Every Thursday. Check out Scoundrels Inc. And then make sure, if you haven't already done it, everybody, make sure that you head on over, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that. You like this show? We'll get right. You can't see the logo right there, but it's on the channel at the moment. The big thing shirt is up there. Is a Flirt and Flouse, Show Some Class, Top Gun Guy, Capes and Cowls, Sith Council. It's all up there. So please go ahead and check that out. Thank you to Trade Coffee. Thank you to Carbon Health today. If you haven't already, please head on over to the Patreon and sign up today. Find a tier that's right for you. We have a lot of stuff going on, especially in the month of November. We're right there. November 1st, you sign up. We have so many different things, whether it's the exclusive rewatches, the exclusive Q&As. I do my one-on-one sessions. We have other things that we're adding. We have a trivia thing. We have so much up there right now, and PLD is doing a great job over there. So for myself and Kevin Smets, thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you on the flip side. All right, everybody. Peace.